Alright, so we built this structure in our foldables, right? That's what your foldable looks like. So now that the lines are parallel, the blue angles are congruent. Now the lines are parallel, the gray angles are congruent. Now the lines are parallel, the pink angles are congruent. Right? So when the lines are parallel, corresponding angles are congruent. When the lines are parallel, alternate interior angles are congruent. When the lines are parallel, alternate exterior angles are congruent. Those are the first three. Then the other part of this, when the lines are parallel, same side interior angles are supplementary. You'll hear me say same side supplementary, S, S, S. When lines are parallel, same side exterior angles are supplementary. Have I told you guys anything new today? Kind of, yes, but not really, no. Right? They're still called the same thing, but now they have that mathematical property tied to them. So, in this scenario, it says same side interior angles. It says supplementary angles formed by a transversal intersecting parallel lines. It says the same side interior angle postulate. Now, in this blank, you all have a bunch of stuff typed in there? No, it is a blank. So I want you guys to write same side interior are supplementary. And then put in parentheses, they add up to 180. So, what are the same side interior angles here?
Interior.
Same side interior.
3 and 6.
So, you could make a small note that 3 and 6 equal 180. What's the other ones that add up to 180? That 4 and 5 add up to 180. So that's one chunk. If they're same side interior or same side exterior, they add up to 180. Now, right here it says that all the angles that are congruent. So it says alternate interior angles are congruent. And I want you to list, what are the congruent alternate interior angles when the lines are parallel?
3 and 5.
So angle 3 is congruent to angle 5.
And 4 and 6.
And angle 4 is congruent to angle 6. Those are our same or alternate interior angles. Okay, corresponding angles. What are all 4 of the corresponding angles?
2 and 6.
Okay, slow down please. 2 and 6 are congruent corresponding angles.
1 and 5.
1 and 5 are congruent corresponding angles.
7.
4 and 7.
3 and 8.
3 and 8. So those are all the pairs of congruent corresponding angles. So still practicing identifying what is corresponding and what is not. And now that the lines are parallel, they are congruent. And then what are the alternate exterior angles that are
1 and
congruent?
8 and 2 and 7.
Guys, that's what your quiz looks like. It says what's in a pair of alternate interior angles, and you just list them. Does that kind of make sense? Is anybody like bored with this already? Guys, it's going to be here for a long time. All right, so let's look at the next one. In this scenario, I'm just asking you to list all the angles that are congruent to the given angle. So this is the given angle right here. I want to know all the numbers that are congruent to that one. 6, 4, and 2. Perfect. Easy, medium, hard, difficult, or impossible? Impossible? And that's where we're going right this. Now, why is 6 the same size as the given angle? And the reason is vertical angles. That's not in your foldable, but you could add it to your foldable, right? That's called taking notes. Why is 4 congruent to the given angle? Opposite exterior does not exist.
Because
Alternate exterior.
Oh, I said opposite.
It's the same thing, but it doesn't exist in the textbook, right? That's why I didn't teach you guys consecutive interior, because you don't know what consecutive means. You guys understand same side easier. And why is 2 the same as the given angle? Corresponding. Now, Nico guessed same side, right? But same side and supplementary. Does that make sense? Same side, supplementary. So same side, supplementaries, they add up to 180. These are congruent, and we have all the A's and the C's that make them congruent. Alright, list all the angles that are congruent to the given angle. And here is the
Are you
given
there?
angle. I'm here.
Are you there?
Miss Baker. I do. Alright, I will. Bye. Mario, you sign yourself out. You can just leave it there, I'll pick it up later. So, what are all the angles that are congruent to the 72-degree angle? 2, 7, and 5. Now we gotta say why. Why is 2 congruent? Vertical angles. Why is 7 congruent? Corresponding. 5 is congruent because now they are alternate interior angles. Not bad, right? This is kind of the same thing over and over and over again. I think we're good here. Okay. Yeah. What does this look like? This looks like. Hashtag math, right? I'll see it. Looks like a hashtag. Come on, man. Give me something here. So it says, supply the missing reasons to prove that angle 1 up here is supplementary to angle 14, way over there. This is a proof, right? Like kind of like on your test. Most of you guys did okay with that. I think you'll like this one a little better. It's not really that bad. So it says, we know right now that, I'm going to highlight this stuff so we can kind of see it. We know that this line and this line are parallel. We also know that this line and this line are parallel. Alright? So it says angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. Why? Vertical angles. Not bad. Then it says that G is parallel to H and I is parallel to J because they gave it to us. It says that 3 and 8 are supplementary. Why? Remember, supplementary is either same side interior or same side exterior. These are supplementary because they are supplementary same side interior, the S's. They are on the same side of the red transversal and they are inside the orange lines. Then it says that angle 8 and angle 14 are congruent. Alternate interior angles. And then here's where I'm going to swoop in and save the day. Right? Then it says mathematically that angle 1 and angle 14 are supplementary.
Because angle 1 is equal to angle 3 and angle 3 is equal to angle 8. Angle 8 is equal to angle 14.
So angle 1 is equal to angle 3, but angle 3 and angle 8 are supplementary,
Oh,
and angle 8 is equal to angle 14.
So. it adds up to-
It looks like where if it's repeated, it's deleted, right? So all those are connected. 1 goes to 3, 3 goes to 8, 8 goes to 14. But it's really the congruent supplements theorem, which you guys have never heard before, right? The congruent supplements theorem. Now let me try and make real life sense of this. Now this is gonna get a little weird, so just go with it. I'll try to use like terms that you guys are familiar with. I use you. Okay. If I'm dating Nico, listen, right? What's my title?
okay, Nico.
If we are dating each other, I am
Nico sniff each other.
boyfriend, right? Okay. So if I'm dating Nico, I'm Nico's boyfriend. Now, if Ethan's dating Nico, what do you call Ethan? Boyfriend. So we're dating the same person. We have the same title. We're both boyfriends. Now it's saying that 3 is congruent to 8, or 3 and 8 add up to 180. Well, aren't 1 and 3 the same thing?
Yeah.
So if 3 is supplementary to 8, then 1 is supplementary to 8. Now, if 14 is the same as 8, you see how you can like kind of match all that stuff together? So it's kind of like we all have the same title. If Ethan is supplementary to Nico and I am supplementary to Nico, then we are the same thing. We're both called boyfriends, or we're both supplementary to the same angle. It's a weird one. And it got really weird. Okay.
Congratulations.
All right. Man, this one's tough. It says if angle 1 is 100 degrees, what are the measures of angles 2 through 8? Now, the reason that this sucks is because it says, how big is angle 2? So you have to follow their math. How big is angle 2? Well, I'm asking you, right? This one's 100. How big is angle 2? 80, because they're supplementary. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So they use the definition of supplementary to say that this is 80. And it says vertical angles. The measure of angle 1 is 100. And they say vertical angles make angle 3 100. This is confusing, right? A little bit. So how would you do this on a problem? You would say that this is 100 and that's 80, and how big is this one? 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 Y'all can do that all day. So when I force you guys to do like someone else's thought process, it becomes a little weird. So the good thing about parallel lines is there's an imaginary break right here. Whatever 4 angles you get right here, automatically slide over here and becomes the exact same 4 angles. It's cool, right? So let's just leave that alone and not confuse it. And then this is an application of where you actually have to math yourself. This has been that question that breaks a lot of people. So it says, what are the measures of all the angles in the problem? And then ultimately we're trying to figure out what is the measure of angle 1. That's the end game goal. So how could you use math to figure out something in here? Yeah? Well, you have to use geometry to give you the ability to do algebra. You guys do this so well when there's no algebra in there. When you see algebra and you quit.
Oh, you have to.
Which ones?
The 2x plus 10 and 3x.
That is the correct process. 2x plus 10. We have to add that to 3x minus 5, but we have to know what they add together to equal.
180.
But do you know why that's true?
Straight line.
So and what happens is you guys forget that lines go on for forever. So what do you call these two angles? They're same side interior angles. Because they're same side interior angles, they add together to equal 180 degrees. Did you see that? Okay, so you can extend the transversals so you can see that. Now here's where we're at. We have to math this. 2x's and 3x's make 5x's. Am I asking you why right now? No, that was the last unit. Just tell me. 2x plus 3x equals 5x. Then we have positive 10 and negative 5. Or 10 minus 5 is positive 5. What would you do next?
Subtract 5 on both sides. 175 and then 5 times. Or divide by, sorry, divide by 175.
Divide both sides by 5. X equals 35. So I like to plug it back in because I like numbers. 70 plus 10 is 80. And 105 minus 5 is 100. That's cool. Does 80 plus 100 equal 180?
Yeah.
Awesome. But have we solved for angle 1 yet? No.
Plug it
Plug it
in.
in.
135 and 10 for x.
So you see how there's an x right here? Do we know what x is? So we can plug in a 35 right here. 2 times 35 minus 20. 2 times 35 is 70. 70 minus 20? 50. Now, do we have the ability to find out how big angle 1 is? Yeah? So same math here. Here is my transversal. Here's my parallel lines. If this one's 50, this one and this one have to add up to how much? So 50 plus angle 1 has to equal 180. And angle 1 should be 130. Isn't that just the coolest thing in the world?
Yeah.
Does anybody have any stress or questions about how all that math worked out? I do. Aren't these two angles right here supposed to add up to 180? No, they're not. Because this line and this line are not parallel. So they don't have any mathematical properties. Does that kind of make sense? That's where I need you guys to start seeing that stuff. These have mathematical properties because these lines are parallel. These have mathematical properties because these lines are parallel. But these don't because those lines are not parallel. Welcome to math, guys. You have to start thinking just a little bit. This one looks good. What would you do here? Or what do you know? What can you guess? Huh? How do you know that this is 90 degrees? Because that's exactly what that means, but some people don't know that. This means 90 degrees. What else is huge that you have to know before you can math? Huh? You think this one's also 90? Okay. It looks like it. But don't ever look at it and just guess. You'll have to look at these guys right here. What do those guys mean? That means that they are parallel.
And then
So now that we know that they are parallel, this angle and this angle have to add up to equal 180. Because they are same side supplementary. So we can math that. You can set it equal to 180, or you already said that this angle is 90, so you can set this equal to 90, or you can add them up. 90 and 2x minus 10 equal 180.
Wait, can you just?
So if you wanted to say, I know the angle is 90 degrees, you could have just set it equal to 90 degrees. Does that kind of make sense? So doing the first step is kind of irrelevant, but some people like to see the first step. So 2x minus 10 equals 90. What do we do next?
Then subtract 10.
Nope.
Add 10.
Yep.
Plus. And then you divide. And do 50.
So how big is this angle? Huh? How do you know that? Because x is 50, so you just put 50 right there because x is 50. So you guys like, what? And that's what happens. X is 50, so that's what you put there, 50.
Well, those lines are parallel.
These lines are parallel, that's huge.
180.
So again, you have to know that those two make 180 because they are same side interior angles. 8x plus 10
Plus
plus
4x minus 10 equals 180.
so it's 10 minus 10.
0.
0. They cancel each other out. 8 plus 4. Uh-oh, my calculator's broken. Uh-oh, your calculator's broken. Huh? If your calculator stops working, maybe you should have your own. They're over there. They're free. I charge them nightly. Or you guys have the iPhone calculator that works well too. So 15. 8 times 15 is 120. 120 plus 10 is 130. 4 times 15 is 60. 60 minus 10 is 50. Do those two add up to 180?
Yes.
Yes, they do. That's why, guys, checking your work is so amazing because you can see if it works or you can see if it doesn't. How about this one? Huh?
These lines are parallel.
Alright, so this line and this line are parallel. Sometimes it helps to extend the line so you can see them.
Those are not.
So these are not. These are not parallel. Huh?
Like, you do 2x plus 2x minus 15 equals 180.
2x
Plus 2x
No, because they're not directly connected. So, can you move this angle over here and say that this is 2x? You can't do that because these lines aren't parallel. So, the only thing that we can do is use these two angles right here. Did you not see that? So, those two angles have a special property. They're two angles on a line. We call that a line pair of angles that make a line. And how many degrees does a linear pair add up to? Huh? 180. So now I know that this angle and this angle equal 180 because they're a linear pair. They make a straight line, and a line is 180 degrees. So if I add those together, 3x's plus 2x's is how many x's total? 5x's minus 20.
X equals 4.
We'll add 20 to both sides.
Just
And then we'll divide both sides by 5. So the only way to get over here is to plug that 40 in. 80 minus 15 is 65.
so why don't you use the bottom one again?
Because there's an imaginary barrier right here. Math cannot occur that way. I can't use any sort of math properties. All they can do is get my x value and plug it in over here. So if this angle is, I said 65, then this angle up here would be 65, and this angle right here would be 65. But when I plug in a 40, 2 times 40, this angle is 80. You see how those two angles don't match? Because those two lines are not parallel. I think this one really helps a lot of people. Because it's color coded. Hashtag math, this is just for me, so just watch this one. Now, I don't really care about what x is right now. I just want to know, question, are they congruent or are they supplementary? They're congruent? Are you guessing or do you know? If you guess, you're right. So the pink lines are parallel and the blue lines are parallel. So your thought process could look weird. If this angle is 3x plus 7, how big is this angle? The same thing. And I know that's true because they're vertical angles. Now, can you move that angle anywhere else for something that you know? Can you move it left? Or can you move it down? Okay, so which way do you want to move it? Move it somewhere. Something that you know.
On top of 5x minus 13.
I can't go over here yet. I either have to go over here or I have to go down here. So,
Go down.
right here? Why? This is true because those are alternate interior angles.
It's plus 7.
They're alternate interior angles. So you know that's true. Or could I just move this guy straight down here because they're corresponding angles? Right? Now, is there something I know that connects these two angles, the definition? Is there a special angle pair that says something about those two? Now they're alternate exterior angles. Now if you didn't see that, you could have moved this guy right here because these two angles are corresponding angles. Then you could have said vertical angles. Either way, you guessed and said that they are congruent and you are correct. And then you could have set those equal to each other and solved it. But I made it complicated by moving that angle around. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys an assignment today. You're only going to be able to do probably the front of it. The back of it's a lot different. Today, all day was these lines are parallel. Tomorrow, you have to force lines to be parallel.
What is due?
Friday, so I'm gonna let you align this for the quiz, and you're gonna turn in this and your quiz on Friday. And because I'm the best teacher ever, I'm not gonna use this quiz grade on this eligibility check. I'm gonna delay grading it until Monday. Unless you actually need it, then I might sneak it in there. That makes sense? So if it hurts you, I'm not gonna put it in. If it helps you, I'll put it in. Make sense? Oh, you're welcome. It's not a big deal. I'll do the extra work for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, you guys.
I appreciate
I
you.
appreciate you. You're my favorite second period. So front only. Well. So theoretically, you should be able to get to at least number 13. You should be able to get at least there. As you kind of taper through this, it gets a little more intense. And then we're gonna say 14 to the end until after tomorrow. So tomorrow is Thursday.